Man-Thing film. The main film, Man-Thing, is a 2005 Australian-American monster film based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name. Directed by Brett Leonard, it stars Matthew Le Nevez, Rachael Taylor, and Jack Thompson, with Conan Stevens portraying the title character. The film is influenced by Man-Thing comics written by Steve Gerber and follows a Louisiana sheriff Le Nevez as he investigates a series of deaths in a swamp, leading to him encountering the eponymous creature. Originally intended for a theatrical release in the United States, the film premiered on the Sci Fi Channel under the Sci Fi Pictures label. It grossed $1 million against its $30 million budget from a small release in international theaters and received generally negative reviews from critics. It was the last film to be released by Artisan Entertainment, due to their closure in 2004. Plot: at Dark Waters, a Native American sacred land containing an enigmatic swamp spirit, a teenager is murdered by a plant-like monster. The following day, young replacement Sheriff Kyle Williams reaches Bywater and meets with Deputy Sheriff Fraser, who tells him the previous sheriff is among 47 missing persons since oil tycoon Fred Schist bought the ancient tribal lands from Shaman and Seminole chieftain Ted Sallies, the first to disappear. Schist claimed that Sallies had sold the lands legally and then escaped with the money. Schist then asked the sheriff for help. Local protesters opposed his perfectly legal activities, and mestizo scoundrel René Larocque was sabotaging his facilities. Williams investigates this while trying to find an explanation for the missing people, some of which were found brutally murdered with plants growing from inside their bodies. Photographer Mike Plug and shaman Pete Horn tell Williams local legends about the guardian spirit, suggesting that it could be real. As sabotage and murder continue, Williams investigates the swamp with Fraser and finds the previous sheriff's corpse. Medical examiner Val Mayrick admits that the previous sheriff had ordered him to file the deaths as alligator attacks, even if Mayrick believed otherwise. Williams and Fraser try to track Larocque, who lives in the swamp, by using a canoe. At the same time, Schist sends the Thibaudex brothers, local thugs, to track and murder Larocque. The monster in the swamp finds the Thibaudex and kills them. Williams is ensnared by Larocque, who admits having helped Schist buy the lands. Larocque claims that Sallies was opposed to the sale. Larocque insists that the guardian spirit would keep on murdering until Schist stops desecrating the sacred swamp. Fraser tries to help Larocque, but the Man-Thing timely appears and murders Fraser. Larocque knocks Williams down and escapes. Williams wakes up and finds Plug, who has blurry pictures of the monster. The sheriff seizes the photographs and forbids Plug to come back to the swamp. The following day, Williams interviews Horn and Schist with the help of schoolteacher Terry Richards' help. Williams starts having romantic feelings for Richards. Horn goes to the swamp and tries to stop the Man-Thing with prayers and sacrificing his own life. The monster kills Horn, but is not otherwise affected by his efforts. That night, Mayrick autopsies the old sheriff and finds a bullet. He tries to tell Williams, but he is back at the swamp, unreachable. Mayrick tells Richards, and she goes to the swamp to tell Williams. Meanwhile, Plug had returned to the swamp, trying to get a picture of the monster. Instead, he startles Schist, who was in the swamp to murder Larocque. Schist shoots and kills Plug. Soon afterward, Larocque ambushes and defeats Schist's son and minion Jake. Williams finds Plug's corpse and reasons that Schist murdered Plug. He then meets Richards, who tells him about Mayrick's autopsy. Williams concludes that Schist is guilty of several murders, trying to incriminate Larocque simply to avoid punishment. According to Schist's confession to Larocque, he murdered Sallies and buried him in Dark Waters. Due to the magic embedded in the soil, Sallies returned as the Man-Thing. Richards reveals that she can guide Williams to Larocque's lair, but the Man-Thing starts chasing them. He chases them to the drilling tower at Dark Waters. In the tower, Schist is leveling his weapon at Larocque, in an attempt to prevent Larock from blowing it away with dynamite. Larock nonetheless tries to detonate his bomb and is shot and wounded by Schist. Schist then wounds Williams. However, the Man-Thing arrives and brutally murders Schist by filling his body with oil. The Man-Thing then moves toward Williams and Richards. Larock sacrifices himself, shouting at the monster and blowing the bomb. The monster survives the flames, but then is absorbed back to the land. He then moves to Elko, Nevada, where he lives out in the desert. Cast: the characters portrayed by Mamon Zappa and director Leonard are named after Mike Ploog, Steve Gerber, and Val Mayerick, who all worked on the Man-Thing comic. A photo of Man-Thing co-creator Stan Lee can be seen on the board of missing people who have been presumably killed by the Man-Thing. Production development. In 2000, Marvel Entertainment entered into a joint venture agreement with Artisan Entertainment to turn at least 15 Marvel superhero franchises into live-action films. These franchises included an adaptation of The Man-Thing. Plans to make a film about the Man-Thing were first announced in 2001. It was variously considered for a direct-to-video release or a theatrical release. After the success of Bryan Singer's X-Men 2000, M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable 2000, and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2002, the film was moved to a theatrical release to exploit on the success of superheroes. Filming Man-Thing was shot completely on location in Sydney, Australia. Shooting locations included Weissman's Ferry Serenity Cove Studios at Cornell for exterior swamp scenes and Homebush Bay. The principal photography for Man-Thing concluded in 2003. Post-production. On October 27, 2003, it was reported that Artisan Entertainment, which had partnered with Marvel Enterprises in the production of Man-Thing and the Punisher films, was being purchased by Lionsgate Films. In February 2004, the film production and distribution company Lionsgate merged with Artisan Entertainment and received the film rights to Iron Fist, The Black Widow, The Man-Thing, and The Punisher. In January 2004, producer Avi Arad said that The Man-Thing was more of a departure from the original comic than were Marvel's other film characters, in that it was a horror film with a menacing central character. On April 2004, the film had been completed, with the finished print received and waiting to be tested with audiences, after which an exact release date would be determined. The film was rated R for violence, grisly images, language, and some sexuality by the Motion Picture Association of America (MPAA). The film had a production budget of $30 million. Avi Arad, then CEO of Marvel Studios, admitted that it was a mistake not keeping tabs on the production, as it was being filmed so far away in Australia. He stated the one hiccup we had was the one project we didn't micromanage. We were not going to the outback. There was so much going on. We will never do that again. We should never have trusted anybody that far away without our supervision. Thankfully, it was a small movie and not a disaster. If we were there and on top of it, it would have been an amazing movie. Effects. Marvel Studios producer Avi Arad said the lead character in the Man-Thing movie would be a combination of prosthetics and computer-generated effects. From the outset, Man-Thing was intended to be a prosthetic, CG-enhanced creature. Arad told the Continuum during a visit to Marvel Studios, so there was a great deal of R&D. There's positional stuff happening on location, on the set, but at the same time the stuff you don't currently see in camera was always engineered to be enhanced by digital effects. So when you see the movie, hopefully the line is pretty blurry. It's not an all CG creature. Design. Special effects makeup was by the Makeup Effects Group of Australia. The Man-Thing was built as a full-size creature suit, portrayed by Conan Stevens, a 7-foot minus 1-inch 216 cm Australian actor, ex-wrestler, and stuntman. Although no full digital Man-Thing model was made due to budgetary constraints, The suit was combined with digital moving branches and tendrils for certain sequences, also well as digital augmentation for the eyes. Music. The band As Your Dog Productions' Wayne Luke joined with Beck and Freddie recorded the song The Man Thing Lives Again that played over the end credits of the film. It was supposed to be released as a promotional video, but since the film was in a constant state of flux financial, script, etc., and was not going to theaters as intended, Marvel did not want to leak advance images of the set and creature costume before the film's eventual release. One of the band members has worked on the footage and uploaded a remix on YouTube. Soundtrack. The Man Thing album was composed by Roger Mason and was released on March 17, 2009. The soundtrack consists of 21 tracks. Its duration is over an hour long. The album was released by Nice Spot. Release. Man Thing had originally been scheduled for release date on August 27, 2004. The U.S. release date was set for Halloween, October 31, 2004, but when Marvel Enterprises released its second quarter financial report, Man Thing was included in the 2005 lineup with a release date to be decided. Reportedly, the film was so bad that the test audience walked out before it was finished. So Marvel put it back on video in the United States, since it would not be bankable in a domestic release. The film was released internationally in places like Russia and the United Arab Emirates. Man Thing was released on April 30, 2005, as a Sci Fi original on the Sci Fi Channel. The character's film rights, along with the other Marvel characters, whose film rights were previously acquired by Artisan Entertainment, have reverted to Marvel. The film premiered in Singapore on April 21, 2005. Home media. The film was released on DVD on June 14, 2005, in the United States. It was released as a 2-disc DVD in Region 2 format. Reception. Box office. While the film was released direct to television in North America, it played theatrically in 3 international markets where it accumulated $1,123,136 in box office grosses. On April 28, 2005, Man Thing opened in Russia and 4 other post-Soviet states: Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Moldova. The film opened on October 26, 2005 in the United Arab Emirates. Finally, the film opened in Spain on March 3, 2006. Critical response. Upon its release, Man Thing received generally negative response and reviews from film critics. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has an approval rating of 17% based on 6 reviews. Felix Vasquez from Cinema Crazed gave the film a negative review, writing, "While the special effects are really good and the directing is decent, this just ends up becoming a really bad movie botching a really good concept." David Newser from Real Film Reviews awarded the film 1 out of 4 stars, calling it the worst comic book movie ever made. John Condit from Dread Central gave the film a rating of 1.5 out of 5, writing, "Maybe in more capable hands than Brett Leonard's this could have been a creepy, albeit cheesy monster movie, but instead it just ends up falling flat." David Cornelius from eFilm Critic.com gave the film 2/5 stars, stating that the film was too lame to be genuinely entertaining, not stupid enough throughout to be laughable. Adam Tyner from DVD Talk awarded the film 2/5 stars, calling it thoroughly mediocre. Andrew Smith of Popcorn Pictures rated the film a 5/10, calling it a wasted effort but watchable anyway.